Hey everybody, what is up? What is going on? Welcome back to the Madden '07 Albuquerque Vipers franchise. Last video we watched the Super Bowl, the Packers versus the Patriots, the Brady Bowl, as Aaron Rodgers was only able to play the first quarter before getting hurt. And the New England Patriots ended up winning the game 27-20. And Brady, he gets himself his fourth ring. That's something we're going to be trying to do in Albuquerque. Well, our first one. That'd be cool if we won four. But as of now, we don't even have a playoff win. We went to our first playoff game this past season here in year 3, which, I mean, in and of itself is already pretty impressive after going 0-16 just a few years prior. To already be in the playoffs, and that's our goal once again this season, is to get to the playoffs, to win some games, to improve in the offseason, to improve this offensive line. I think if we can improve this offensive line, Cross's injuries will go down because he won't be getting hit as much, hopefully. And if he's not getting hit as much, he won't be getting as hurt as much, I would think. And then we'd be all good. And before we jump into the offseason, just a quick look at the Pro Bowl. We have the NFC beating the AFC. We had a handful of Vipers show up in the Pro Bowl this season, or at the very least get voted to it. It doesn't look like Orlando Cross got any playing time. I don't think we had any running backs or wide receivers. Charles Phillips didn't even make it. I thought he probably should have, considering he finished, I think, third in best receiver voting. See if anyone did anything on defense. Oh, there's Dre Bly. He got himself 2 tackles, and that's it, I think. Unless, Dante Hall. He did have 1 punt return for 13 yards. He also had 3 kick returns for a total of 62 yards and a long of 34. That's nice to see. All right, here we go. Jumping into the offseason. Year 4 already. Wow. Okay, looking at our balance sheet for this past season. 2008 net income, $37.7 million. Total assets, $105 million. That's pretty nice. We did pretty good. We probably filled in those stands, especially once we started getting hot and going to the playoffs. We need an offensive coordinator. Shoot, who was our offensive coordinator before? So we got to hire a new, looks like offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams. It looks like Cameron here, he's going to be going to Atlanta. Looks like there's a head coach opening there, so we're going to let him move on. Let's see where our other guys went. That's right, our defensive coordinator was Rex Ryan. And it looks like he might be going to San Francisco. I don't know, our defense played pretty good throughout this season. We did bend a little bit more, I guess, later in the year. Our run defense wasn't as good as it was earlier, but it'd probably be good to keep him around, especially not let him go to a rival, if you can even consider San Francisco a rival, which, I mean, they are inside the division, but they're just kind of trash. And we got Rex Ryan back. That's cool. Brett Favre, he's looking to become an offensive coordinator. That might be a fun one to go after there. Let's see who else there is. There's Scott Linehan, our old head coach for just 1 season. And he went back to being an offensive coordinator with Tennessee. He went 8-8 for 2 seasons. Now it's looking like he might go to Cleveland as a coordinator. We got Josh McDaniels here as an offensive coordinator. He was not on a team last season. He was last with the Patriots in 2007. Sure, why not try to bring in Josh McDaniels just as the offensive coordinator? And we got him. McDaniels is now a Viper. Now I'm looking at John Harbaugh. I believe that's John Harbaugh. It's either John or Jim. I don't remember who's who. We'll send him an offer to be our special teams coordinator. Someone has outbid us. Let's try again. Someone's outbid us. Let's try again. Someone's outbid us. I don't know if I actually want to spend that much on a special teams coordinator. What else do we got here? We're going to try to give an offer here to Zahner. Sure, we'll call him that. Let's give him this offer here. Another team's outbid us. Let's go a little higher. Another team's outbid us. One more time. And he accepts. Alright, we're going to take a look at players who are retiring. Starting off with the quarterback, Steve McNair. Spends his last year in Tampa, probably hoping to, get a good shot. Instead, they really badly wanted Chris Sims to play for whatever reason. McNair not the best season though. 3 passing touchdowns to 6 interceptions, just 400 yards. Kerry Collins is also going to be retiring. That's probably good for the Browns because I felt like he was holding them back, especially in his 3 years with them. More interceptions than touchdowns. Kelly Holcomb's also going to be retiring, so I guess the Bills are really going to be hoping Andre Bennett, turns out good. Holcomb was actually pretty decent in 6 and 7, got the Bills to the playoffs. And then finally, John Kitna is going to be retiring with the Lions. He did lose his job to Byron Leftwich this past season. Still got a little bit of playing time. 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Tiki Barber, he's going to retire as a Indianapolis Colt, 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. Holy cow, 2,000 yards, 1,900 yards. Wow, he's putting up big numbers there in New York. Let's see, Warwick Dunn, the former Falcon, he's going to retire as a Jet, 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kevin Falk is going to retire as a Buccaneer. He did basically nothing. We're going to be losing Chad Morton, but he didn't really play a big role. We brought him on for special teams, and then we ended up signing Dante Hall. Mike Alscott's going to retire as an Indianapolis Colt. Spent 2 years there. 6 touchdowns for him this past season, though. The longtime Buccaneer. A couple more fullbacks. Marvin Harrison is going to retire, unable to get a ring. 2 Super Bowl appearances. Too bad Peyton Manning sucked in both those games. You got Mason, Terry Glenn, and Kevin Johnson all retiring. No tight ends retiring. Got Willie Rolfe here retiring as a Chief at the age of 39. You have 2 Titans there and a Lion also retiring all at 37. You have Brown, the right guard, or left guard actually, for the 49ers, retiring. The Colts are losing their new center, or not new center, but the guy they brought in to replace Jeff Saturday. They're going to have to be looking for a center yet again. Bryant Young's going to retire. Another Colt there going to retire. Derek Brooks at 36 years old, retiring as a Buccaneer. You got Quarles here from the Texans. He had himself quite the season. I believe he led the league in tackles. 158, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions for the longtime Buck. Teddy Bruschi's going to retire as a Kansas City Chief. Over 100 tackles for him and 4 sacks. Not a bad last season. Chiefs are losing another linebacker there. And then Earl Holmes also retiring. Sam Madison going to retire as a New York Giant. Spent 3 seasons there. He had 7 interceptions this past year. Got Mike Minter retiring. Some safeties there. Rodney Harrison retires with the ring. Or another ring, rather. He got an interception against Joe Brady in that Super Bowl. Got some kickers and some punters retiring. Okay, time to re-sign players. Let's start off here. Pete Morales. He was okay the 1 year that he played. He had 12 pancakes. He only gave up 4 sacks. That's the main reason I kept him around. But a 58 overall center, I can find those pretty easily if I needed another center. And we got 3 centers on the roster anyway, so you'll be fine seeing him go. Dwayne Quarles here. Just looking at his stats, he had 10 sacks for us back in year 1. Year 2, I believe he got hurt in the second game against the Bucks that year. And then Akbar came in, took his place because he was out for the season. Akbar had a good year, got the starting job for 2008, and never really looked back from there. But he's a guy I would like to at least keep around for depth. It's nice to have these guys who have been here since day one still around. He's only 25. We'll give him a 3-year deal, essentially to sit on the bench. But if he needs to, he's proven that he can play. This left guard here hasn't even played. I don't know why he's a team captain. Can let him go. Derek Clay, another guy who's been here since day one. He didn't really even do much in year one, though. Dave Douglas is an interesting one. I kind of like him as a third-string quarterback. Obviously, we've seen what he could, or what he's done in year one. He had 2 touchdowns to 20 interceptions, just short of 1,000 yards. But that was also with a terrible offensive line. He didn't really have much for receivers. So honestly, I'd kind of like to keep Dave Douglas around for another 2 years. And he will accept. Glenn Nash, obviously, someone we got to keep around. I think he's actually gone up a point. I think it was a 66 overall. He's 32 years old. We'll just give him this 2-year deal. And he accepts it. Alex Smith, we got him from the Buccaneers. He had the best season of his young career. Over 400 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. He's a pretty athletic tight end. And I think we could use him even better in the future. I like him. 27 years old. I like this, a 3-year deal here. We'll submit it, and he'll take it. Dre Bly, I'm not sure how much money he's going to be asking for with his 10 interceptions he got this past year, but he is 32 years old. I'm not sure if I want to sign a 32-year-old corner to a 3-year deal, because the thing with Dre Bly is he got those 10 interceptions, but he also got beat a fair amount in coverage. So I'm just going to give him this 1-year deal here, and he will take it. John Hall did great for us. He didn't miss a single field goal or extra point. 26 to 26, 47 to 47. So we're going to keep him around. Ryan Young, another guy who's a team captain. He's just kind of been struggling. His worst year was year one with us. He gave up 11 sacks, 7-6. Our tackle situation just isn't great, and he has been regressing every season. I think he was an 80-something when we first signed him, down to a 77. An okay offensive lineman, but I'm fine with seeing him go, too. But, yes, thank you for your time in Albuquerque. You were our best player in year one, overall-wise at least. Joseph Jefferson, just a backup safety. I'm okay with him leaving. Left outside linebacker here, who's been here for 2 years. I'm okay with him going. He's just there for depth. Mitch Simpson, Josh Connor. Yep, let him go. And is that it? I think that's it. I know Tom Lang's contract was expiring, but I think he might have been signed as a restricted free agent. Okay, so I'm looking to move on from Lorenzo Perry. He's a big old draft bust. Got him 14th overall in 2007. He's been with us for 2 years. He got 83 pancakes in his first season, 8 sacks allowed, which is a little bit high. But then he did more than double that this past season. I don't know if maybe his awareness is just really low. It is pretty low to 66. He's only a 78 overall. He's the 5th highest paid player on our team. And I guess the main reason I would not trade him is because he's still young and got potential. But that's the reason I kind of think he even has some value, because he's just not been good throughout his first 2 years. So this might be moving on from him a bit too early, and maybe he'll wind up being an all-time great tackle. But I just really don't think he's worth what we're paying him at all, and I don't really see him developing well in the future. And it's kind of sad. All we can get for him is a 5th-round pick, and then move up 17 spots in the 3rd round. But the Detroit Lions, they need a left tackle. They'll take on Lorenzo Perry and put him under their wing and try to develop him, I guess. But Lorenzo Perry, thank you for your time here, even if you kind of sucked. So there he is now on the Lions. And funny enough, the left tackle the Lions had was drafted just a few picks before him, and he's even a worse overall. But he hasn't given up as many sacks. I don't know if he's been starting or not, but yep, that's our first round pick that we have moved on from in this series. Okay, here we go. Time for some free agency, and I'm going to be looking for some tackles, right, both right and left, and then also defensive end is a position in need. Holy cow, Big Ben's a free agent. Okay, so now taking a look at the free agents that were signed throughout the first period of free agency, we got everyone that we tried to get here. We got Tariq Glenn at left tackle, the former Indianapolis Colts. We also got a right tackle here, Jordan Gross, the former Panther. We got James Hall. I don't remember what team he was on before. Detroit. He had 11 sacks last year, bringing him in at defensive end. And now with Michael Bennett, he's down to I think a 74 overall. He went from 97 speed to 94 speed, which isn't as good as Morris's speed here. But we're still going to bring him in a little bit of competition at that running back position. The former Seahawk here. Phil Van Dyke also has an opportunity to retake that starting job back that he lost last season. Big Ben was a free agent. He was considering going to Carolina. Then he was thinking about going to Minnesota, but ultimately he decided to stay in Pittsburgh. David Garrard was the only other quarterback signed in free agency. He's headed to Chicago. David Carr, just 2 years with the Redskins, and he is gone. Deshaun Foster leaving the Panthers. He is headed to the Indianapolis Colts. Travis Henry right now, the former Titan. He's considering going to the Jaguars. And then we got Maurice Morris there, who we signed. At fullback, we have a couple guys here, one to the Colts and one to the Eagles. At wide receiver, the big boss there, Randy Moss. He's going to the New York Football Giants. And, free agency has ended, yes. Andre Johnson, he was a free agent. He decided to stay with his team with the Texans. Corn Robinson is with the Eagles. They got TJ Hushmanzada. He's going to the Patriots. Ferguson staying with the Packers. Tight end here, they got Kinney going to the Steelers. They got Daniel Graham going to the Browns. And Jim here is going from the Vikings to the Bears. We got the best left tackle in free agency to come to us. Other left tackles went to the Chargers, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Seahawks. Left guards here to the Browns, the Cardinals, the Titans, and the Texans. Chargers got the best center on the market. They're really beefing up their line. Texans got a new center, as did the Vikings and Bears, and the Jets there, and the Panthers, and the Cardinals, and the Steelers. A lot of people with new centers on the team. The best right guard goes to the Packers. You also have Mayberry to the Jets. And at right tackle, we wound up getting the third best one on the market. Falcons, Bucks, and Cardinals all got some. At defense now, the best player overall-wise, 99 overall here. He is headed from Atlanta to Pittsburgh. He got himself 12 sacks last season. Fisher is going to the Bills. And they got a defensive end here going to Cleveland. We got the best right end. There weren't a lot of right ends on the market, really. Barry's going to the Chargers. Greg Ellis to the Falcons. And then the former Viper, Tom Lang, is headed to Detroit with Lorenzo Perry, who was just traded there. At defensive tackle, they got Williams. He's going to the Raiders. Booger is headed to the Bengals. Got Walker going to the Cowboys. Jones is headed to the Colts here. Jamie Sharper, he's headed to Pittsburgh. Ray Lewis, he is leaving the Ravens, and he is going to be a New England Patriot now. The Bills and Dolphins also got themselves new middle linebackers, as did the Bucks now with Mike Peterson. Takeo Spikes, he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle now. At cornerback, going from the Patriots to the Chargers, is William Peterson. Ty Law, he was with the Bills for 3 seasons. He is now going to be on the Saints. And you also got Delta O'Neal here going to the Dolphins. Charles Woodson, another man who hit free agency, but then decided to stay with his team. Sharper, he's headed to the Browns. Williams to the Titans. You got Lawyer Malloy going from the Falcons to the Colts. And when it comes to kicker, David Akers, he is headed from Philadelphia to Atlanta. And then Sebastian Janikowski on his 4th team in 4 years here, now with the Chargers. And then some punters that got signed and whatnot. A lot of high overall special teams players in the offseason here. Okay, so we're almost ready now to go into the 2009 NFL Draft. I'll just show you guys my draft board here going into the draft. The top rated player that I have scouted is this running back here, Scott Donaldson out of USC. I think running back is still a little bit of a need for us, but at the same time, I think we're okay at it, but I think we could be better. Ed Ailman is another guy. He's from Alabama. He was my favorite running back that I scouted. Defensive end is a position of need that we did not address. Terrence Taylor, I think, could fill that need in pretty well, but I do think that Junior Abbott is actually better just based on the practicing I did with him. At safety, I scouted this free safety, Austin Henderson. He's okay, but I personally prefer John Kelly here, who's projected to go into the 2nd round. I also looked at some later round guys. This running back, I think he's the fastest running back, but there's just a lot of issues with him. Apparently he has trouble holding onto the football and staying healthy. And then I also looked at this wide receiver in the late rounds, Chris Clark, projected to go in the 5th round out of Colorado. He's 6'4" and runs a 4.31. So I like that combination there. So just, for the later rounds, because too often if we get past like round 2, I start drafting blind. So it's good to know what's down there. San Francisco's on the clock. Will they take Joel Morton? Will they take a left tackle? I think they should take either Morton or Ray Dawkins. Ray Dawkins is a scrambling quarterback. He has run a 4.43. And San Francisco does take a quarterback. That is very interesting. Or maybe not very interesting. It was expected. It was expected they would take a quarterback last year, and they did not. They stuck with Alex Smith for another season, but Alex Smith just hasn't been good. This might be a little bit of a reach considering we still have some of these guys here, like Ed and Austin and Junior Abbott. But I really liked John Kelly and what he was able to do for us. He's 6'4". He's got good speed. I'll show you his scouting report here. It says he should emerge as an impact player at the free safety position. He does lack some speed, but he's a good tackler and has never dealt with injuries, it's saying. So we're going to draft him. Wide receiver is not a position in need, but John Hitchcock is 6'3" and runs a 4.28, and that's really tempting. I did not scout him. Nobody that we've scouted is still here until they're projected to go in the 5th round. So kind of drafting blind here in the 2nd round. But our biggest position in need is pass rusher, for defensive end at least. Alfred Abbott is gone. There's these 2 guys here though. I want to take that receiver, but I think it'd be better to take a defensive end, a position of need there. So we're going to take Antrell Wilson. So with our 3rd round pick, we're going to be taking Bob Waller at free safety. And with our 2nd 3rd round selection, we're going to select Mo Stevens, a right tackle here for some depth. With the 21st pick in the 4th round, we are going to select Chris Clark, wide receiver. With our first 5th round pick here, we are going to take LaMarcus Fletcher out of Pittsburgh. In the 5th round, we are going to select John Murphy, linebacker out of Iowa. In the 6th round, we are going to be selecting Michael Thomas, the cornerback, not wide receiver, out of North Carolina. Okay, so we have yet to make our 7th round selection, but before we do that, we're going to take a look around the league at what teams have done in the draft, who they have taken, just keep up with them. The Bears in the 1st round, they take a quarterback here, Joe Smith, in the 1st round. They also got a wide receiver there in the 2nd. The Bengals, they took a receiver, Melvin Wallace, in the 1st round. Then they went back-to-back with cornerbacks. The Bills selected a cornerback in the 1st round. Mark Scott is his name. They also went defense again at right outside linebacker. The Denver Broncos, 3rd overall, they took Rod Brown at defensive end. They also took a right outside linebacker in the 2nd round. The Browns' 1st round pick went to Grimm, a right guard there. They also got a wide receiver. The Buccaneers went tight end in the 1st round with Lorenzo Campbell. And then they went with outside linebacker, some more offensive linemen. The Cardinals took a running back in the 1st and 2nd round. Interesting because I believe they still have Edgerrin James there. This is a running back, one of the ones I was looking at. I didn't end up scouting him, but one of the ones that interested me. He'll be on the Cardinals now. The Chargers, they did not have a 1st round pick. In the 2nd round, they took a cornerback. And then they also took a running back before doubling down on right tackle. The Chiefs went quarterback 5th overall in the draft. They got themselves Ray Dawkins. He is a scrambler quarterback. Be interesting to see how his career turns out. The Colts, they replaced Starvin Marvin Harrison with this other wide receiver there, Darrell Fulton. So getting Peyton Manning another weapon. And then they grabbed Glenn in the 2nd round. The Cowboys went right outside linebacker in the 1st round before going kicker in the 2nd round. Interesting choice there. The Dolphins got themselves a left end in Taylor here. Terrence Taylor, that was one of the players I was looking at, but he went way sooner than we could have gotten him. The Eagles, they got Henderson there, one of the other players I was looking at. Be interesting to see how good he was, what his overall is and whatnot. They also doubled down on wide receiver. The Atlanta Falcons, they got Abbott, another defensive end I was looking at. Be interesting to see his overall. They also got another defensive end there in the 2nd round. With the 1st overall pick in the draft, the 49ers went quarterback just a couple years after drafting Alex Smith 1st overall. That hasn't seemed to work out, but now looks like we're going to be facing Joel Morton twice a season. The Giants, they went with offensive lineman in the 2nd round there. Also got a right end in the 3rd. The Jaguars grabbed a wide receiver here, John Anthony, in the 1st round. The Jets went defensive tackle and center in the 1st round for them, getting down into the trenches. The Lions at 4th overall, they grabbed a wide receiver, Steven Woods. They also drafted a quarterback here in the 3rd round. The Packers got Aaron Rodgers a weapon here, Andre Seymour. They got him another one here with John Hitchcock, who was a receiver I was looking at drafting for a little bit. He's tall and at 6'3", it's decent size there. He's also got good speed. The Panthers went left tackle in the 1st round there, 10th overall. The Patriots, after signing Ray Lewis, their 1st pick is a middle linebacker, although it is in the 2nd round. The Raiders went outside linebacker with their first 2 picks of the draft. Ravens went cornerback and then middle linebacker to replace Ray Lewis. Back-to-back left tackles taken here by the Redskins. Wow, the Saints are going quarterback in the 1st round. They still got Drew Brees. That's an interesting selection there. And then they took 3 straight defensive tackles. In the 1st round, the Seahawks go running back. Maybe they think Sean Alexander's getting a little old. There's Ed, actually. It's one of the ones I almost drafted. He'll be in Seattle. The Steelers go with outside linebacker in their first round pick. The Texans, they get Jarrett Sanders in the first round, 22nd overall. The Titans got a right tackle in the first round. And the Vikings went defensive tackle. And in the 7th round now, we are going to select Austin Ward, defensive tackle out of Cincinnati. Okay, so now taking a quick recap of our draft. In the first round, we took John Kelly. He ended up being an 81 overall. He also has 89 speed, so that's nice to see. He should be a good player for us. In the second round, we took Wilson here at defensive end, an 80 overall. Looks like he could very well be starting this year. We got Bob Waller here in the third round. He's a 79 overall. We got a 78 overall at right tackle here. So already the same overall that Lorenzo Perry was, and he was a third round pick compared to Lorenzo Perry being a first round pick. Chris Clark, a wide receiver that we drafted, 94 speed, but his catching is pretty low at a 73. LaMarcus Fletcher, a running back that we drafted there, 75 overall, 93 speed, but his carry's only a 74. We got John Murphy here. He's got 77 tackling. Michael Thomas here, who's a 71 overall, 93 speed, but he's got really low awareness there at a 55. And then finally, we took Austin Ward at defensive tackle there, 69 overall. His awareness is also pretty low, just a depth guy. Any other big free agents? Holy crap! Wow, Drew Brees is a free agent. The Saints went out, drafted that quarterback, and said peace out to Drew Brees, and straight up just cut him. I mean, I know they've gone 8-8 back-to-back seasons, but wow. Darrell Jackson. Edgerrin James. The Cardinals got rid of Edgerrin James after they drafted that running back. Holy cow. Are you kidding me? Ed Alman got drafted by, what is it, the Seahawks? I don't remember who drafted him. But wow. This is just like Phil Van Dyke last year. He's 92 speed. Do I bring him in after bringing in so many other running backs? 88 agility. I mean, this is just like last season. Why not? Just submit him that offer. Okay, so we were able to sign Ed Alman there in free agency after the Seahawks, I believe it was the Seahawks, decided they did not want him. We got some drama going on in the NFL, though. As you saw, the New Orleans Saints let go of Drew Brees. He had 4 teams offer him contracts, and he didn't want any of them, which was interesting. Jay Cutler leaves the Denver Broncos after just 3 years there. He's in Atlanta now. David Carr, he goes back to the Redskins here. You got a lot of quarterbacks that got signed. I guess a lot of teams needed quarterbacks. Okay. Over here in the running back section, Edgerrin James. He might be going to New York. The Patriots were on top of his list for a while, but I guess they don't want him anymore. Mon Green, he's going to the Panthers. Got some fullback signings there. Darrell Jackson, the former Seahawk, he is heading down south to Atlanta. Dennis Northcutt is going to the Texans. Hall to the Steelers. At tight end, the Vikings got one. We'll go through this pretty quickly because most of it is just smaller name free agents, except for Drew Brees, which is just, wow, I did not expect that at all. James Harrison without a job, even though there's a lot of guys below him with one. That's interesting. There's one, they went to the Lions. The Saints got a linebacker. Steelers with a corner. Seahawks get a cornerback here, or keep one rather. Safety. Seahawks, they get another kicker there. I don't know if they got rid of their old one or whatnot. But yeah, some drama. Where is Drew Brees going to end up? Is he going to go back to New Orleans? The only other teams I saw giving him offers was Philadelphia. They already have McNabb, and the New York Giants, who already have Eli Manning. I could see him maybe going to the New York Jets, but the Giants, no. So where will Drew Brees end up? We'll have to find out. We're just going to take a quick look here at some of the big name rookies that came out of the most recent draft. Joel Morton, the first overall pick by the 49ers, an 87 overall. He's got 57 speed. Let's see what his throwing stats are. 97 throw power, 89 throw accuracy. What's his awareness at? 79 awareness. So best on the team when it comes to just about everything. His toughness might be the biggest concern. He might be a little bit injury prone. The man who replaced Drew Brees in New Orleans, he's also rocking number 4. What was he, an 81 overall? 84 overall. What are his throwing stats? 95 throw power, 92 throw accuracy. It's interesting that they chose to draft one, because they also drafted Curtis Williams last season, who's an 82 overall. They took him in the second round. He's got similar throwing stats. That's very interesting by New Orleans. The Bears quarterback that they drafted, Joe Smith. He's an 81 overall. He's got 56 speed, 64 awareness, 92 throw power, 94 throw accuracy, which that's pretty solid right there, but he's only the third highest overall quarterback on the Bears roster. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to start or if it's going to be someone like Brian Griese or Billy Volek. And the Chiefs' new quarterback, Ray Dawkins, an 85 overall, 86 speed. That's right around where Orlando is, I think. I don't remember exactly what Orlando's speed is. 67 awareness, so that could definitely improve. 94 throw power, 85 throw accuracy. So not the most accurate dude, but he's got a nice arm, and the accuracy can improve. The Chiefs might have found their new franchise quarterback. Well, I do think that's going to do it. Another offseason now in the Albuquerque Vipers franchise. Another long video. This is the longest offseason it has taken me to record, just short of 3 hours, actually. I don't know what it is with these Madden 07 off seasons. They just take a while to get through. Probably because there's just so much to go through this game. It's so many details. It's just such a great game, and I love it. And I'm glad that you guys love it too, and enjoy watching me play this game. And yes, thank you all for watching. And yeah, I hope you all have a moist rest of your day. And until next time, this has been Jeffrey. So long. It changed it. I said so long.